Hey my glam girls, it's Chelsea, and today we are reviewing the new Charlotte Tilbury Bejewelled Eyes to Hypnotise palette. And I'm excited for this one because let me just say, based on swatches, this palette looks divine. Just divine. I posted swatches on my Instagram story, GlamGirlChelsea. If you are not following me there, you should. Of course, I'm going to insert those swatches here as well. But this palette, I can't just wait to get it on my eyes. But before we get into this video, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend some time with me. If this is your first time here, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe to my channel and join the Glam Girl Squad. And if you are a returning subscriber, well, thank you so much for deciding to come back and support my channel with all of your likes and your comments. They all truly do mean a lot to me. So let's get into this video. Okay. First outfit of the day. So this little number is also from Amazon. I have been shopping on Amazon lately for dresses. I want cute baby doll comfy dresses, and that's what I have here. So this one is from the brand Miss Look, and I have 3 or 4 dresses now from this brand. I really do enjoy how flowy they are. There's no pockets, but that's okay. It is a little higher than my knees, but I feel like I can definitely still wear it in the upcoming fall and maybe winter months. It is thin, so maybe not the winter. It's definitely like summer material thin, if that makes sense. Maybe the winter, depending on how cold your winters get, but since the material is thin, maybe not. But this is so cute. She's also, my necklace is from the Style collection, and I will link that down below if you're interested in it. I love cute dainty jewelry, and so this is just like right up my alley. So like I said before, this is the Charlotte Tilbury Bejewelled Eyes to Hypnotise palette. This is limited edition. I love the crystal-like packaging. It's not real crystals, but it gives me like crystal vibes. It retails for $75, and it is currently out of stock, but it says coming soon, dropping tomorrow at 7 a.m. and today is September the 17th. So this is going to drop, I'm assuming, Friday the 18th, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, maybe. I'm not sure of the time frame, but it's supposed to be available tomorrow. So good timing, Chelsea. It says light up your eyes with 4 jewel-inspired looks with this show-stopping eyeshadow palette featuring 12 brand new shades. Very excited to hear that. This palette and the shades in the palette are inspired by the world's most brilliant gems, so you can glow with wider, brighter looking superstar eyes from day to night. Okay, so here is a look at the palette, and I love the shades in this palette. I think they are beautiful, wearable shades. I think they're shades that would be complementary for any eye look, and I really enjoy the jewel tone shades in this particular palette. As always, it comes with this little plastic sheet that's going to tell you how to use the shades, and like the description says, we get 4 trios of different eye looks that we can do, or we can just mix and match the shades how we want to get the eye look that we want. Today I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to play around and mix and match shades because that's how I would use the palette anyway. I wouldn't just stick to a particular trio for an eye look. But for some of these, for the majority of these, you really could. If you don't mind using all shimmers, then you could use all 4 for a nice little look. So that's that. In terms of the way that these shadows feel, they feel so beautiful, and they swatched beautifully. The only shade that didn't swatch like the best is this shade right here. And when I'm saying it didn't swatch the best, it just took me a couple of swatches to get it to be a little bit more uniform. The other 2 matte shades in this particular palette, after one swipe, the swatch was complete, it was opaque, and it was just, the formula of the mattes were just really buttery smooth. The formula of these shadows, we've got some metallic-like, jewel-like shimmers, and then we have some more traditional shimmers, and then of course 3 mattes. So I'm going to be doing comparisons of this palette to a couple of other Charlotte Tilbury palettes that I have at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's just get into this. So on my face, I am currently wearing, and of course I will have everything listed down below, I'm wearing the new NARS Soft Matte Foundation. That review will be up tomorrow if you are interested in that video. I have the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer on. I set my under eyes with the Charlotte Airbrush Powder. under eyes and T-zone with that powder in the shade medium. And then bronzer, Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Blonde Bronzer in shades 2 and 3. Blush is going to be this Lila B Duo Lip and Cheek Cream Blush in Be Fearless. Oh, so pretty. So that's the blush that I'm wearing. And then I filled in my brows just a bit with the Precisely My Brow by Benefit with shade 4.5. That's what we have on my face. Okay, so prime my eyes with the ABH primer. Going in with the Rephr 15 brush. We're gonna start off in Happy Glow land. So the matte shade in Happy Glow. And we're just gonna start blending this in the transition area of the eye. This is blending out really nicely. Rephr 13 brush in the Seduce Glow trio. We're gonna take that matte shade right here and then bring it into the crease. Going back in with that Rephr 15 brush with no additional product and just blending that shade, the deeper shade, into the crease a little bit more. BK Beauty 203 brush and taking this shade right here in Seduce Glow, because when I swatched this shade, I was like, ooh, I need that one on my eye, like right now. It looked so just beautiful and bronzy. And I'm just going to take this around the middle of the eye and then toward the outer edge. Oh, this is applying so beautifully. Let's go in with this shade from Dream Glow, and using the same brush, just gonna flip it over. Let's add that next to this bronzy shade. And I did just wash my brushes, so my brush is a little damp, just to be transparent. But I will say, when I swatch these shades with my finger, they swatch pretty much just as intense as they are going on with this brush. This shade from Dream Glow, and I'm gonna use my finger and I'm gonna pop that right here, just right here in the center of the eye. It's so pretty. Oh, I'm loving this. Ah! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Lower lash line Rephr 12 brush. Let's go in with the deeper matte shade in the palette. We're going to bring that all along the lower lash line. Let's go in with this shade from Seduce Glow and put that on the inner corner of the lower lash line. Ooh. Ooh, wasn't expecting that. And then this particular shade from Dream Glow for the inner corner. I'm actually going to take that same shade for the inner corner and top it over that gold shade, just to make the look a little more uniform. One eye down, another eye to go. Let's go into Love Glow matte shade, and I'm using a BK Beauty 202 brush. See how we do with this right here on the outer edge of the eye. So even though this shade did not swatch the best compared to the other two matte shades in the palette, I feel like this is blending nicely, and I am able to build the color up to the intensity that I want. I would definitely recommend working in smaller sections so that you don't overdo the intensity of the shade, but I do think this is performing better on the eye than it did swatching it. The purple shade from Dream Glow, because of course we could not leave this video without playing with this shade. Taking a BK Beauty T06 brush, and we're just going to, okay. This shade, I wasn't ready. I was not ready. Oh my gosh. This shade is, oh, it is pretty. Now I want to take a little bit more of that red and like bring it up. I'm not adding any extra product onto this brush. I'm just taking what is left over on the brush and blending the shade. I didn't realize my camera cut off. Okay, so I clearly completed the eye look. Didn't know that y'all weren't able to watch it. The last thing that you saw was me putting on the shade right here. I put that all over the eye. Then I topped it with this shade right here. So that's what you see right here in the center of the eye. For the lower lash line, I went in with the red shade and I concentrated that right along here. I went in with this shade right here, and for the lower lash line inner corner, that shade right there. And that's how I finished off this look. So here are both eye looks. No lashes, obviously. But yes, I think they both look really beautiful. And I did use every shade in the palette intentionally. So if it looks like a lot of shades, I mean, it is a lot of shades because I used all of them. But I wanted to show all of them on my eyes. So I'm gonna throw on some lashes, finish off my makeup, and then come back to share with you my final thoughts and then some comparisons of this palette to other Charlotte Tilbury palettes that I have. So stay tuned. All right, this is the finished look. I am wearing the Rokel Beauty lashes in the style Full Moon. Y'all, you need to try these lashes. I have 3 pairs and I love them. I used the Wayne Goss Eye Kohl in the shade Rich Hazel for my liner. And then I went in with the Lancome Absolute powder in the shade Golden for my highlight. And on my lips, I am wearing the House of Sillage lipstick in the shade Queen. And I did spray my face with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless setting spray. I was about to say powder, setting spray. Okay, so that is how all of this look came together. Final thoughts on this palette. I love it. I think it is stunning. I think it is beautiful. I am so glad that I got it because the formula is just amazing. I really enjoy this jewel toned color scheme that she has going on. And I feel like you can definitely, you know, get your kind of everyday look. You can jazz it up with, you know, a couple of these bolder shades here. But I think this palette is just a all around well-crafted palette. The formula is impeccable. I feel like I'm newer to Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows, but with each palette that she's been releasing in the past few months, I feel like the formula is just getting better and better. This red shade, like I had mentioned before, I was happy that this red shade did not apply patchy, that it wasn't like skipping on my eye or anything like that. I think it blended beautifully. And I really enjoy both eye looks, and I would highly recommend this palette. It goes on sale or it launches tomorrow, so if you've been interested in it, I think you would be really happy with it. Now, I guess if I have to say if there's a con, the con is that there's only 3 mattes, and I would have liked a deeper matte shade, like a deeper browner matte shade, because the deepest shade in this palette in terms of a matte shade is going to be this one. So in terms of like versatility of your matte looks, you don't have really much at all because there's only, you know, this shade here, the red matte shade here, and then this lighter tan shade here. But for me, I think the standouts of this palette are the jewel tone shades. So for me, I would use this palette in conjunction with another palette that had more matte shades if I wanted a more diverse matte look or a diverse matte base or a deeper matte base, because even with this red shade, I do believe it provided some depth, but it's not going to give me like a huge punch of color you know, like I said, if I wanted something like really dark, deep, and rich. In terms of these jewel tone shades though, I definitely feel like these jewel tone shades and these shimmer shades will work for, you know, all complexions. The pigmentation is there and it's a beautiful palette. So when I look at this palette, and especially after using it, for me, I'm gonna use this palette in conjunction with something else for more diverse looks. I don't think for, you know, looks that I might want, I'm gonna get it all from this palette in terms of the matte shades. For the shimmers, yes. Matte shades, no. Now, comparing this to the other Instant Eye palette that I have the Instant Eye palette in Pillow Talk. So I'm gonna just hold these two together like this. So this is the Instant Eye and Pillow Talk up top. And then of course, this is the Bejeweled Instant Eye palette. And in my opinion, these two palettes are not identical. They're not the same. There are some similar shades and we'll swatch those, but I just feel like overall the vibe is different. I feel like it's a little more obvious to see the jewel toned colors in the Bejeweled palette. And I feel like with the Pillow Talk palette, we're getting more softer shades. We definitely get a lot more mattes. We actually have more mattes than shimmers in the Pillow Talk palette compared to the Bejeweled palette. We have more shimmers than we do mattes. And there's, you know, a little deeper matte shades in the Pillow Talk palette. So I do think, you know, these two palettes would be really nice complementary palettes to each other if you really like the shades in both of them. And then I have the Desert Haze palette. This is just to show you comparisons of the two. And with the Desert Haze palette, maybe this trio at the end of the Bejeweled palette, you know, might be a little similar. I'll bring it up close, but I don't see any similarity there that I feel, you know, would be similar enough to swatch. I have the Walk of No Shame palette. And so here I would say that it's similar to the second trio in the Bejeweled palette. And there are some similar shades, but overall, I don't think, you know, this quad is identical to that trio, but we will do some swatches of the shades that are a little similar. And then lastly, I have the Queen of Glow palette. To me, I feel like this particular trio might be close to its, close in shades to it. But once again, we'll do swatches and then we can talk about that. So we have this tan shade from Pillow Talk compared to this tan shade from the Bejeweled. So we have the tan shade from Pillow Talk, and then this is the tan shade from Bejeweled. And as you can see, the shade from Pillow Talk is deeper, a little more brown, I would say, than the tan shade from Bejeweled. We're gonna compare this shade right here from the Queen of Glow to this shade right here from the Bejeweled palette. And here we go. So Queen of Glow and this shade from the Bejeweled, and they are actually very similar in my opinion. Maybe the Bejeweled is like a touch, I don't know, richer in color, a touch deeper. But these two actually, I feel, are very similar. I mean, very, very similar. This shade from Pillow Talk compared to this shade from the Bejeweled palette. And here we go. So this is the shade from Pillow Talk and this is the shade from Bejeweled. And they are different enough to where they look similar in the pans, but the Bejeweled is definitely a little more rich and deeper in shade. And guys, that's it. I've been looking at these 5 palettes, really just trying to see what shades really look similar to the eye to swatch. And these were the only ones that I felt were similar enough in terms of what they look like in the pan that would potentially, you know, be similar in swatches as well. The rest of the shades, I feel like when you hold the palettes together, the shades are distinctive enough to where you're like, okay, they might be in the same family, but they're definitely not going to be the exact same on the eye or look similar on the eye. So I am happy about that because, you know, as much as I love Charlotte Tilbury and I love the brand, I don't you know, I don't want to purchase the same shades over and over again, you know, because obviously she's not cheap. And so I do feel like the only shade that I felt was really, you know, very similar to another shade was this one. And that one, like I said, I felt was extremely similar to the shade, it's this one right here. The shade in the Queen of Glow palette. But outside of that, I feel like the rest of them are distinctive enough, at least with the ones that I have. And clearly I don't have even half of all of the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palettes out. I know Morgan Turner, I think she has every eyeshadow palette from Charlotte Tilbury. So if she has her video up, which I'm sure she does, I'll link it down below because I'm sure she's gonna give you more swatch comparisons, especially if you have other eyeshadow palettes from Charlotte that I don't have. But overall, I think this Bejeweled palette, I feel like she's a winner in my book. I really enjoyed using it. I can't wait to use it again. I think this is going to be a really beautiful palette for the upcoming winter months. But guys, that is it. Let me know your thoughts on the two eye looks that I created. I think they are both so beautiful, and I love, just like I said, I love the jewel tones in this palette. Let me know your thoughts on the palette if you're interested in this one. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye guys.